What's going on YouTube? This is Kaz and welcome to the Kingdom Perfume Experience. I'm so glad to have you guys here on my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I do hope by the end of this video you will like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you're about to see. If you're returning, so good to see you guys again. So folks, this is going to be letter C in our ABCs of Perfumery series. I know it's been some time since we've done another letter, so I just wanted to do letter C, which stands for citrus. So I'll see you right after the intro. Welcome back. Now before I get into it, as you know or may not know, I usually like to start off all of my videos with a quick and simple prayer. For those of you who would like to skip the prayer and skip ahead to the beginning of the video, there will be a link in the description below. For those of you starting with me, let's go ahead and start. Heavenly Father, we thank you for my viewers. I just thank you for this platform and this space to kind of share our thoughts and feelings on just one of the simple joys of life and fragrances. I just pray for each and every one of us that we can find real relationships and community and those around us that care and love us and fight for us. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, guys, so let's get into it. The ABCs of Perfumery, letter C, all right, and C stands for citrus. Now, for those of you that might not know, the ABCs of Perfumery is an odor classification system created by the good folks over at Perfumers World. I highly recommend you guys check out their website and resources. They do sell materials as well, and you can actually search virtually almost any material that you've heard of, and you will see a description of multiple types of that same material, as well as the odor classification. So all the materials I have here are in my personal collection, and these are the materials that will fall under the citrus category. Now, a typical, lab perfumer, maybe someone that works in one of the famous houses, like let's say Chanel, for example, they have thousands of materials. But as you guys know, I am an independent perfumer, kind of going the self-taught route. So, I have a few citrus materials here in my humble collection. So we're just gonna do a brief deep dive, and we're gonna talk about each and every one of these citrus materials. So the first one we're gonna start with is Bergamot. All right, so this is one of my favorite citrus materials, and I'm sure many of you probably already are familiar with Bergamot. It's in a lot of fragrances and is commonly used as a top note. So let's go ahead and talk about what Bergamot smells like, and then we'll go to the next material. I'm just gonna dip my tester strip in here. Now, as a quick note too, citrus materials tend to be, I guess you would say, the more volatile type of materials. They evaporate more quickly, and they are the first ones that you'll usually smell when you spray on a perfume or a fragrance, because they're the ones that are jumping off and evaporating first. All right. Wonderful. So this Bergamot, by the way, this is Calabrian Bergamot, okay, Calabria, Italy. This is the type of bergamot that is. There's different types of bergamot, and this is Calabrian Bergamot. And as you can see too, the juice is clear. All right, and this material came from Perfumer's Apprentice. So Bergamot is really nice. It has a nice subtle juiciness to it. It's crisp, it's green, and it really does kind of uplift the senses a lot. All right. Now, when I say green, think about kind of like a, in my humble opinion, I think this is kind of like one of the king of citruses. Okay. Think about a lime and maybe a grapefruit kind of blending together, because grapefruit is really juicy, and lime can be really sharp and really green. Now, blend those two together and reduce some of the sharpness from the lime, and that's kind of what I get when I smell Bergamot. A really wonderful citrus. You can do so much with bergamot. You can use it to boost other olfactive profiles. You can use it to create a citrus accord. You can just use it by itself. It has a lot of uses in modern perfumery, and bergamot's going to be here to stay. It's just a staple. It's common. It's like kind of like having salt and pepper in your house. You always want to have some bergamot around. So we'll go to the next material. I guess I'll go in alphabetical order, kind of unintentionally, but that's just how it kind of happened. The next one is blood orange. Now, I have a little vial of blood orange here. It's in a dark bottle, and I think this came from Mei Fragrances. So I'm actually curious to get another bottle of blood orange from Perfume's Apprentice, so maybe a more reputable distributor, just to kind of compare. But we're going to talk about blood orange, another citrus. And for those of you that might have had some blood orange, you will have an idea of the taste. Okay, you eat regular oranges and then you eat blood oranges, and they can have a very some depth to them. Okay, some depth and sweetness, and they just have a little bit of characteristic that differentiates them from other types of oranges. So let's talk about blood orange. Now, it is a very kind of yellowish color there on the strip, and with this blood orange essential oil, you can smell a lot of the peel. Okay, it's a very authentic, almost photorealistic smell, and you're gonna obviously smell what a typical orange smells like. If you've ever eaten an orange or smelled one being peeled, you'll smell the richness of the peel itself, as well as that the juice, the zest that goes into the air when you kind of cut one open, or you break one open with your fingers and try to peel it. And that's essentially what you get with blood orange. It's very real. It's very rich. You'll smell a lot of the peel. And I should just a quick backpedal to bergamot. You do smell kind of a tiny bit of like a citrus peel scent. Nothing near lime or blood orange for this example, but blood orange is really nice. Okay, you're gonna smell a typical orange, but you're gonna smell more of that peel if you ever work with a blood orange material. And I myself am curious to kind of work with blood orange from some other vendors, just to kind of see, everyone sources, okay, their essential oils from different places. There's different methods of extraction, and there's different regions that you can get the same type of material from. Each region has the plants or fruits or herbs, etc. from that region can differ just based on the climate and how it's grown. So this blood orange is really nice, and it's also kind of sweet. As it kind of dries down, you still have that peely smell, but it's really sweet. So that's blood orange. Okay, the next one is, let's see, what are we gonna do next? We'll keep it with the oranges for now. We're gonna do sweet orange. This is also another Perfumer's Apprentice material. Perfumer's Apprentice is a common source of a lot of perfumery materials. So if you're thinking about getting into the big bad world of perfumery, Perfumer's Apprentice is a great place to start. Awesome. And then you can see I have a tiny vial of it here, and it's yellowish in color, similar to the blood orange. So I'm just going to dip my tester strip in some of the sweet orange. Awesome. So as I smell the sweet orange here, this is USA, by the way, so American sweet oranges. This is the location of the oranges that were used to create this oil. Wonderful. So sweet orange, similar to blood orange. Okay, we're talking about the same fruit. You're gonna get less of the peely, that sharp peel smell. You're gonna get a little less of that. It's not as prevalent, and it's definitely not quite as juicy as blood orange, but it's your typical traditional orange that you're all used to. Okay, so between blood orange and sweet oranges, there's minor differences. Blood orange just has a little bit more depth, a little bit more photorealism to it, and sweet orange is a little bit more laid back. Okay, it's much calmer. So if you're working, let's say you're doing some test fragrances, and you're building out your citrus profile, your citrus accords. You know, bergamot might be a staple in there. Maybe if you want to use some orange in your profile just to give it some more depth or to brighten it up. Some other characteristics, like if you're using ginger, you can use some citruses to really create a nice zing. Sweet orange is nice because it's not that dominant to my nose here. But as the name suggests, it's nice and sweet. It's subtle. Blood orange is a little bit more pow. All right, so it's just a matter of like how orange you want to get. Yeah. All right, cool. So the next material, we're gonna go into the L's, and I have a lot of L's here. We got lime, lemongrass, let's see, Cuviva, aka Mei Chang. So we're just gonna go with lemon. Perfumer's Apprentice once more. And lemon is a little lighter than the orange. And I'm assuming many of you know what lemons smell like. So let's talk about what the essential oil material, or absolute, smells like. By the way, there is a difference between essential oils, absolutes, tinctures, CO2 distillation, but that's for another video, okay? So, and as I open the lemon, I'm just dipping my strip here, I can already smell it. Lemon tends to have a kind of cleaner chemical effect, and it's honestly not the most fun thing to smell. Like a regular lemon, like right in front of you, is more fun, in my opinion, to smell than the material lemon. It really is quite sharp. Yeah, I don't really like it all that much. It does have its uses though, because it's such a strong citrus. And it's like if you take an actual lemon and hype that up a little bit, maybe concentrate it a little bit more, that's what you're gonna get from you know, a lemon material such as this. This is Californian lemon from Perfumer's Apprentice. And it just has the most sharp kind of chemical cleaner smell, and it's can be a little nauseous, you know, maybe cause you to go a little anosmic, all right? But see, the thing with Perfumery, there's a lot of materials that will smell horrible, like absolutely terrible. But when you know how to, when you start to learn how to mix them with other things, build accords around them, they do their job really well. So on their own, they might not be the best, but when you blend them, you can really start to see their usefulness and their purpose. And I think lemon is one of those. So yes, really sharp kind of chemical cleaner smell. It's reminding me of Pledge for some reason. Pledge is a lemon smell, and this is really kind of reminding me of that. So we'll move on to lime. Now this is a Mei fragrance material, dark bottle, so I can't really tell you the color of the juice until we put it on the strip. But we're going to analyze lime. All right, so lime is also pretty yellow, and just gonna get enough on the strip there. Close it up. Love it. So if I have to choose between lemon and lime, I would choose lime. Lime is definitely much more reserved. It's a little sweeter and a little juicier actually than lemon. Lemon is just so sharp. So lime has basically similar to the profile of lemon, but it's to my nose here on the strip, it's a little bit more reserved in terms of the sharpness. It's a little juicier, it's a little sweeter, and it's more green, okay? So if you take that kind of like lemon chemical cleaner smell and tone it down a notch where it's bearable, add a little bit more greenness, add a little bit more juiciness, and a little bit more sweetness, that's what you're gonna get with lime. And again, also really photorealistic, okay? So if you get a regular lime, cut it open, take a whiff, sit there for a little bit, that's what you're gonna get, all right? I mean, this is one of those materials that aren't, you know, you don't have to make a, you know, use synthetic compounds to create, because it actually does exist in nature. So you're gonna get pretty close to what you would get in nature. Yeah, it's much more bearable than lemon, in my opinion. All right, next thing we're gonna do is review lemongrass. Now lemongrass, this is also another Mei fragrance material. Lemongrass isn't my favorite. It's really tenacious, and I'm actually not familiar with any fragrances that have a lemongrass note. And even as I open the bottle, I'm already smelling it. I know hair products do tend to have this note, maybe spas, places where, you know, you're talking about aromatherapy or wellness or relaxing, because lemongrass does have properties like that. But you know, lemongrass is kind of funny because it's almost as the name suggests. It's really herbal, a little earthy, a little grassy, obviously. And lemon is right on top. It's like if you mixed grassiness and a lemon characteristic without that sharpness, that cleaner chemical sharpness. That's what you would get with lemongrass. But it's very kind of herbal, earthy, almost woody, but more on the grassy side. And green, and just it's just really really tenacious, right? Almost cloying if you were to use a lot of this. This is one of those materials that if you're not careful, you can really spoil your entire batch. It's really potent, and you need small amounts if you're ever working with lemongrass in your fragrances. It has quite the sharp citrus characteristic, okay, but it also has some earthy, some grounding characteristics as well. Yeah. And it's very uplifting if you use the right amount. So lemongrass, you know, can be a very calming type of profile, but it's not my favorite. Definitely not at all. And then we're going to talk about a material called Litsi Cubiba, or Mei Chang, as it's called in China, another Perfumer's Apprentice material, kind of yellowish. Now, this material and lemongrass kind of drove me crazy for a while because I took some time to kind of research them both, and they smell almost identical, but there are minor differences, and they are different things. Yeah, so Mei Chang, or Litsi Cubiba, it almost smells like it has some ginger nuances too. It's kind of like lemongrass, so similar profile, but it's much lighter. It's a much more reserved type of profile. And it also smells, it has some depth to it that lemongrass does not have. It still has that same herbal, kind of grassy vibe, but it does smell almost like it has a ginger note inside of it. And Mei Chang, by the way, it's just another type of herb or root, I think. Yeah, and to me, it kind of smells like a note of like kind of like a like if this were like a candied or like kind of a lollipop candied smell in the middle of it. That's what it reminds me of when I smell it. So in the same vein of lemongrass, all right, but maybe a little bit more zinginess, kind of like ginger, all right. And it's not as sharp, like it's not as potent as lemongrass is, or tenacious, you know. Yeah, but you're still gonna get that herbal, grassy quality mixed with lemon, all right. But none of that sharp chemical smell at all. Maybe a little bit more ginger in there, a little bit, slightly more candy type of smell with Litsi Cubiba, or as it's also called, Mei Chang. And our last material is Pedigreen from Paraguay. Now, this is a very herbal type of material. This is also from Perfumer's Apprentice, very clear. It's a very herbal material, okay? It could have been classified under the letter H for herbs. However, Pedigreen is actually the same plant, all right, or the same tree as the bitter orange, which is also the same tree as the Neroli. So the Neroli flower, the bitter orange, and Pedigreen are all in kind of like one bundle, like one fruit. And I'll show you guys a picture about right now, and you can kind of see the different areas. So it's like they're all one component, okay? You have the orange, and you have the Neroli, which is the flower aspect, and then you got the Pedigreen, which are like the leaves of the bitter orange. So let's talk about Pedigreen, and then that'll wrap it up. These are all the materials that I currently possess that are in the citrus category. And then you'll stay tuned for next time, which will be the letter D. And that will be pretty cool. Kind of go down the list here. So Pedigreen's also pretty strong. It's just the most, it's kind of like yeah, it's just a really brooding type of green grass. Okay, let me see what else I get from it. No, not green grass, green leaves. Okay, just a really green leaf. And you can almost smell some of that bitter orange underneath, but it's very faint. Yeah, so just think about it's like a bitter green leaf. That's the best way to describe it. So Pedigreen to me smells like a very sharp, bitter green leaf. All right, very herbal. You know, it's a little refreshing also. Like if you just kind of sit with it, it does have some uplifting, some redeeming qualities, but it's more on the bitter side. Almost reminds me of green peas in a way. You know, that bitter smell that green peas have. Yeah, but because it's part of that bitter orange tree, I'm starting to smell some of that freshness that you would get from, you know, from oranges, kind of like how we talked about in the beginning. So Pedigreen from Paraguay, very bitter, very green, leafy, almost herbal, vegetal, similar to green peas. There's a little bit of the orange, the citrus from orange coming out, okay? But remember, this is the leaves of the bitter orange tree, so you're not gonna get too much of that Neroli effect or that orange effect, okay? Yeah, and this can be very critical in creating your profiles, especially for your fougères or things that need a little bit of grounding, or maybe if you want to add some juxtaposition with your citruses. All these materials here, and by the way guys, there are tons of citrus materials. These are just the ones that I have, but they can all be used in different combinations to create wonderful profiles, wonderful accords, wonderful supporting you know, openings in your top notes. So there you have it, folks. This is my ABCs of Perfumery's letter C, citrus, and all the materials of my my collection, my possession here. So thanks so much for watching, guys. If you really enjoyed this video and would like to see more things perfumery related, let me know in the comments below. Also, if you really appreciated this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. That way you can stay up to date with all my latest and greatest videos. I really hope to see you guys again soon. Stay tuned. I will be doing an IG live with Terrence from Nazar Fragrances this coming Friday, October 22nd at 5 p.m. You won't want to miss it. It's going to be a great conversation exploring a wonderful Black-owned house. And his fragrances are excellent. 30% perfume concentration. It's going to be a wonderful time talking with him. So thanks so much again, guys. Have a wonderful week and take care. I hope to see you guys again soon.